Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. How you doing, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Welcome. It's a pleasure to be back with you today on this fine Wednesday. Fine Tuesday. What am I talking about here? Whoa. Getting too fast on the week here. Hold on. Slow your roll. It's only Tuesday, and it's a fine Tuesday. It is. Appreciate everybody tuning in. American Anchor Baby in the chair. And we're going to get into a couple things today. You know, Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas. It's deep into December already. It's hard to think about how fast time is going. What's up, show? How you doing? Nice to see you in the chat. But it's a Merry Christmas to everybody. You know, I want to say thanks to everybody who just watches the replays. You guys are faithful viewers. And the Anchor Baby makes it difficult without clips to easily digest the show. Look, it's going to be great. We're going to have good things coming. I just want to thank you guys. So appreciate you being here today on this fine Tuesday. 888-775-3773 is the number if you want to call into the show. You want to hold on and just talk to the Anchor Baby. We're going to get into the shooting thing, okay? The femcells have guns now. Is it true? A female incel behind the school shooting in Wisconsin. What was her ideology? Was she trans? Remember, all angry people are liberals, especially conservatives. And people are saying that they have photographic evidence of the Anchor Baby, that the Anchor Baby was the one behind that shooting in New York. Tune in while we show the evidence and debunk such slanderous lies. Okay? So I want to get into this. I want to dive in, but I am live on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby, dlive.tv/Gorgonzola, and punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. Great stuff. So I just want to let you know, live there. We did our homework, P's and Q's. Is that how you say that? Whatever. We're going. 888-775-3773. Wow. So the femcells, they call them femcells. I'm calling her that. Maybe not too many people are calling her this. But some of you are mentioning it. The trench coats, the boots, the band tees. By now you probably know, 15-year-old girl has been identified as the shooter at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. Student and a teacher confirmed dead, with 6 others injured. Reports suggest the shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. That's how it goes, okay? And, you know, you got the basic stuff going on. The prayers, you got the people saying, oh, something's got to change. Something's got to happen. Something's got to be done. They're giving you the numbers. I saw 83rd shooting. I mean, the skim is saying 323rd shooting at an elementary or secondary school this year. That's crazy, I think. You know, I read that and I react like probably many of you. It seems like a lot. I'd like that to be maybe 0. 323rd school shooting, they say, according to the K through 12 school shooting database. Oh, K through 12. This scope is a little larger. You know, you think school, 323rd school shooting at schools with little children, like, oh, K through 12, but okay. You know, think about these numbers. People throw around the numbers, how many shootings, the statistics. A lot of the time, their purpose is to shock you, as opposed to educating you, really trying to put stuff into perspective. You know, this number, 323rd. You're reading the skim. It just says 323rd. And blah, blah, blah. This is why it's got to change. And people, you know, the only reason you're shocked, you know, you get this number. The purpose a lot of the time is to shock you. And the only reason you're shocked is because you're kind of simple, unsophisticated. Come on, David. You're a sophisticated guy, Trump said to that reporter, remember? Come on, Dave. I forget now. David, you're a sophisticated guy. Anger. This is going to increase anger. The world is an angry place. What I'm talking about is this stat, this 323rd school shooting, it's a little disembodied, you know, severed from context. Okay, so, you know, we live in a society. Look, this world is constantly churning, and if you had a rundown of the numbers, you would be shocked, I bet. What it takes to keep your fat face stuffed, you would be shocked, maybe. You know, if you only knew how many children die from hot dogs. Did you know this? You know it's the leading cause of choking for children. It's considered the deadliest food. It's considered one of the deadliest foods for children. And there they go to the fairs, they go to the fairs, the games, they got cotton candy and hot dogs. The animals. What the heck is Nick talking about? What the heck am I talking about? Look, they got this shooter. They're saying it's the 323rd shooting. It's so shocking. People are shocked at the stats. You got shocked people. They're just like, why? Why is this happening? How could it be? Where did I put it? I got a clip for you. Oh, no. Might have to hunt for it. So I'm talking about shocked people. The people shocked at this whole thing, and one of them is the police chief, Madison police chief. Sean Barnes, I think. It's spelled a little funny. Sean Barnes. You know, he's saying he's a little shocked when he heard about a 911 call. He heard about a 911 call. And if you give me a moment, it's probably here somewhere. Basically, he says, I want you to take this in. I want you to let it sink in. A 2-year-old. I think we found it, folks. Here we go. A 2-year-old.
Student called 911. A second grade student called 911 to report a shooting had occurred at school. Don't let that soak in for a minute. A second grade student called 911 at 10:57 a.m. to report a shooting at school. A second grade...
Let it sink in. Has it sunk in yet? Has it sunk in yet? I mean, look. Maybe normally you wouldn't have to scrutinize something at the level the Anchor Baby does. You know, normally we would just understand that he's just trying to illustrate that this happened at a school. And it shouldn't happen at a school. It shouldn't happen to children. Let it sink in. A second grader called 911. But he just, when we do scrutinize, he's just talking about the facts of what happened. And I'm just like, man, he's like repeating what happened. A second grader called 911 under duress because they needed law enforcement. They pressed 911 at 10:57 a.m. It's like you just keep going through the facts of what happened. It's like, man, if the facts are gonna mess you up this much, maybe you shouldn't be police chief. You know, he's all messed up over the facts. I would think, isn't that exactly what you'd want a second grader to do in that situation? You know, to call the cops. You needed the cops in that moment. Right? If we can not be emotional about it for a second. Yes, okay, it shouldn't happen at a school. But what is this? What is this man here? This is a sign of the apocalypse. That men's strings can be so easily pulled on national TV. Because who does this help? Where's the understand? You're talking about the facts, and you're telling us to be traumatized over it. What does this help? Because you may have seen it on the Hake Report earlier. He's talking about the identity. There was all this talk about the transgender, the possible transgender link. And he's like, the identity of the shooter, why does it matter if he, she, or they, what they identified as? I'm telling you that part because you know that the whole response is a controlled response. It's a response to what he's thinking the public is thinking. You understand? What he has to respond to. Because if he wasn't, you would just say, well, we don't know if they're trans. That's not, it's not important, da-da-da. It was a question, right? So the man is controlled. He almost has to respond like this. Let me paint this picture further for you. Here's Mama Police Chief Mama Sean Barnes. Behold.
To be honest with you, I'm feeling a little dismayed now. I'm so close to Christmas. Every child, every person in that building is a victim and will be a victim forever. And these types of trauma don't just go away. And we need to figure out and try to piece together what exactly happened. And right now, my heart is heavy for my community. My heart is heavy for Madison, and we have to come together as a community and figure out what happened here and make sure that it doesn't happen in any other place that should be a refuge for students in our community. To be honest,
sorry, I just had to come in here and interject. What is this man talking about? Police mama chief, dismayed, but you're the police chief. What do you mean dismayed? What are we supposed to do when the police chief is dismayed? Oh, thanks, Lil Nick. Appreciate it. What are we supposed to do if the police chief is dismayed? It's like the man is dismayed. The leader is dismayed. Jesus, I'm dismayed. I'm dismayed. What are we supposed to do now? And that's just not true objectively. Some weren't even in the vicinity, I imagine. Come on, let's be real. What kind of evil message is this? What kind of evil message is this? You're victims forever.
Victim forever. And this type
You're a victim forever.
Building is a victim and will be a victim forever. And these types of trauma don't just go away. And we need to figure out and try to piece together what exactly happened. And right now, my heart is heavy for my community. My heart is heavy for Madison, and we have to come together as a community and figure out what happened here and make.
What happened here? Why are you acting like it's? That's the thing that's always gotten me about this. Oops, behind the scenes. That's the thing that's always got me about these kinds of things. We got to figure out what happened. The grand mystery. The grand mystery. What happened? What could have happened here? They write manifestos all the time. They write manifestos. They tell the world all the same thing. It's the same story every time. They're disaffected, antisocial. They're angry. Let's be, we can open that app and be more specific. But it's the same story. They write manifestos. Wow, we got to piece together what happened. What they're saying is we got to find out who bought the gun and where the gun. They always come up with something shallow. They really, what they're thinking falls so short of what they're saying. And I wonder if people realize that. I bet not. But, I don't think I really don't think the world thinks about that. It falls way short of what he's saying. We got to piece together what happened. You haven't figured that out. It's clear, they write about it. It's in their manifesto. They say, and And I'm telling you to also read between the lines. They'll say it's this reason or that reason. It's because the earth is this way, or some ideology, or I got to save the whales. Or I don't know. They call it eco-terrorism. I don't know. But every single one is a victim. What kind of evil stuff is this? Incredible. 888-775-3773. I want to keep going here. I got more stuff for you. Let's get into Sam. Natalie Lynn Rupnow. The 15 years old little Natalie. Little sweet Natalie. Okay, no. Went by Samantha. People were wondering if was it trans? Was Sam trans? There was even an online handle. Said cross something. Cross-dresser? What's going on? It might not be true. Seems like it might not be, but I want to get into some of the reporting here on Natalie Rupnow. Are we done with everything else, though? I'm feeling a little lost. Hold on. Femcel shooter. Okay, the numbers. The police chief of Madison. Dismayed, yes. So evil. Tell them they're all victims. Look, I want to show you, Natalie, why I called her a femcel. You know, some say there's no such thing as a female incel. That's what some say. I say there's no such thing as a Christian incel. Ooh, how about that? Imagine being a Christian and saying you're involuntary anything. Subject to the world. Subject to women. Yeah, I'm building on a little bit of the commentary from Daniel. Shout out Daniel. He was on the show. Natalie Lynn. Let's show you Natalie. We got Natalie here. And this is a little reporting from Andy No. We got some pictures and all that. Give me 1 second here. Natalie, why are we calling her a femcel? It's the way she's dressing and the things she's saying a little bit. Boom. There's Natalie. 15. You see that shirt she's wearing? What is it? KMFDM. It's a band. You know, Sam had some alleged online profiles all over these. She was pretty obsessed with other shooters, other school shooters, other mass killers. This was apparently an image allegedly posted by an account of hers. The last account, this was apparently moments before the shooting. It was the post of this picture alongside a Google Docs link, a Google Documents link to her alleged manifesto, okay? Playing with a dog, okay, you know. But, you know, she's got the boots. Look, she's got the boots, allegedly. She's got the leather, shiny black boots. Incel, femcel, school shooter, Columbine shooters, the shoes and all that. You know, the KMFDM band was the same band shirt that one of the Columbine shooters wore. And, you know, she expressed all this allegedly in online writings and other things, okay? So this is Natalie Rupnow. Natalie, why, Natalie? How could you? KMFDM. You know what's so weird? I'm driving. There we go, showing the back, showing the behind the scenes again. You know, I'm driving. I'm driving around near Bond. I'm putting together the show. I go out for a moment. On my drive, I drive past this vehicle. I'm trying to pull it up. I drive past this vehicle. Let's see here. No lie. Coincidence? I guess it's the back of a truck showing some the title of a business, I imagine. Kosher cleaning, KMFDM. What's going on here? God, what are you doing here? You're playing with the simulation, having a good old yuck up there? That's funny. Man, kosher cleaning, KMFDM, these liberal Jews, they can be sometimes radical, Nah, I'm joking. I know KMFDM is probably I hear it's a pretty popular international industrial band. So that happened. Kosher cleaning. Shout out kosher cleaning. You need something clean? I bet you they do it all right. I don't know. Never mind. I take it back. I have no clue. I don't know who said that. No free advertisement. Natalie, KMFDM, obsessed with the school shooters, transferred to this school recently. Transferred to a Christian school. I've seen others comment on this. That's something only the bad kids did. Maybe. But, being transferred in the middle of a school year to a new school, it's a Christian school. I really don't know. If it's a she was cute. No, it's a 15-year-old girl, not trans, allegedly not trans. I'm going to tell you where I'm getting that from in a moment. But yeah, a little on that, Natalie. A female and into the shooters and all that, okay? Talked about death. Talked about worthless human race. Allegedly. So on this, allegedly, why am I talking about allegedly? Where am I getting this from? The Manifesto. So this is the story on the Manifesto. As it stands now, there are basically two sets of images online. One set of images of 6 pages of a purported Google Docs manifesto, allegedly tied to Natalie, and then another image, a clipping from a Discord, allegedly tied to her as well. As that stands now, how this was shared is what's interesting and why this might be true. But that's what the authorities are saying as well. The authorities can't confirm. They're saying authorities can't confirm if these writings are authentic, but they were shared by someone alleged to have connection with her. That's from ABC. What is ABC talking about there? Okay, it starts with an X account. This X account is alleged to have belonged to Natalie, the 15-year-old who had committed the shooting. This account is the account that posted the okay photo, the person sitting in a bathroom, which is allegedly that school bathroom, moments before the shooting, with the okay hand symbol. And that account also posted a link to a Google Documents. The problem is that Google Documents was privated. Natalie Rupnow kind of bungled it a bit, committed a mass shooting. Here's my manifesto. Oops, it's locked and privated. You forgot to make it public. Maybe she meant to. I don't know. But so it starts there with the X account alleged to have belonged to Natalie. It's it posts that photo with that link. A different user on X, who goes by Severed Head on X, is the alleged long-distance German boyfriend of the shooter. Some femcel, long-distance German boyfriend of the shooter. Apparently they never met. But he was allegedly the alleged account of this shooter. Looks like some anime account. They're all like young and apparently this account was active in responding, allegedly. Well, this account was active in responding. The alleged account of this boyfriend, long-distance boyfriend, was saying, "I tried to stop her, you dumbass. Until today, I thought she wouldn't do it. I would have gone to the police if I knew it earlier." That's what this account was posting, allegedly the boyfriend. Now this account is all locked and says, "In remembrance of Samantha Rupnow, who was driven to suicide by the worst people this world has to offer." So I don't know if that's like they're going back on their previous commentary. This is just how they feel. It seems like a false what's the word I'm looking for? Like falsely supporting this Samantha Rupnow, who's now dead. But it's like, seems like a false, like, I stand in support, the world made her do this. And it's almost a little female. You can almost see if this was 20 years back, you'd have the, I don't know, hopefully you understand the vibe I'm putting out here, but take this same situation, just turn back the dial of time. It'd be a male, kind of like weakling, but I don't know, wears boots and incel-y, but I guess has a girlfriend, and the girlfriend supports him no matter what, even if he died in this like dark support, what she thinks is love. This almost seems like the woman's job, but this is the male German boyfriend, alleged male German boyfriend of this Natalie. But let's move a little quicker here. What's the point here? Why I'm talking about this alleged account? Because it was this account that claimed to have access to this manifesto, this privated Google Doc that I was telling you about. So a journalist on X, Anna Slatson, kind of well-known, alleges to have made contact with this individual, the one who claims to be the long-distance boyfriend, the one who claims to have, in fact, access to this private manifesto. Anna Slatson hasn't posted proof of this, but says that she verified the validity of this manifesto by having this user videotape themselves. And I'm trying to show you Anna's account here. She says that this journalist says that let's get it here. Let's get the full story. I have made contact with the alleged boyfriend of the Wisconsin shooter. He has very graciously provided me the full manifesto, which I verified by having him screen record himself opening it from a direct link the shooter sent to him via WhatsApp. I told him I would do my best to dispel some of the misinformation, represent things as truthfully if I was given them, and I will hold myself to that. Her boyfriend knew her as Samantha Rupnow. She also went by a different name, one which was also feminine, but adopted the name of Samantha, and this was the name her boyfriend says she had on her school identification card. Student at Abundant Life, born in 2009, so 15 years old. Born a female, not transgender. Her boyfriend was born male and is not transgender. Her manifesto was titled War Against Humanity, 6 pages long. She spoke about having extreme difficult relationship with her parents, who she referred to as scum. She claims her family didn't love her or want her. She says she planned to commit suicide a long time ago, but felt committing a shooting was better for evolution rather than just one stupid, boring suicide. Praise for for other mass shooters and killers. She expresses how she got the weapon, how it was just her idea, and how she manipulated through lies, manipulation, and my father's stupidity. So that's the claims. Those are the claims of this journalist who's saying they have the manifesto, okay? And they have posted the full thing. Okay. Boom. They posted the full thing. And look, we're just going to get into it briefly. 888-775-3773. I had some callers there. You can call me back. We'll try and get to you quick here. So we'll try and go through this quick. Just some thoughts on some of it. Just a little bit. I did read quite a bit of it. It's a quick read. It's 6 pages, whatever. You don't really need to. I guess. Whatever. But how about it? Some commentary on just some parts here. Hatred, Natalie allegedly writes. Something everyone has gotten. You know, she's got some sloppy grammar in this, honestly. Some pretty sloppy writing, I gotta say. Just saying. And that's coming from the anchor baby. So. Hatred, something everyone has gotten in a sense. Some people think it's pure nothing, but because of the hate they make, it ends up killing them without knowing it. It's unclear what she's really getting at, but It almost somewhat makes sense, maybe a little bit. I've grown around people who do not care or give one single care in the world and smoke their lungs out with weed or drink as much as they can, like my own father. All of you and the world have done to me is pick and tease me. You've pushed me into a corner with no help whatsoever. Feeling lost. You know, the whole thing is like this. It's talking about the scummy world, it's trash and what you've done to me and I hate being picked on, and normally I wouldn't care. It's like every now and then she throws in this like almost like the vibe is she turns her nose up and in not caring, but really it's dripping in this contempt for the world. But she throws off responsibility, saying it was never really her fault. You know, she says really the whole thing is like this, calling people all sorts of things and how worthless everyone is, and yet almost self-aware enough, like she had to put in a reasonable motive. I was picked on, my family divorced, and then my dad was alcoholic, and almost like, and you know, maybe I'm wading into some weird, like I'm accusing her of something at this point. Maybe I'm doing that a little bit, but it's almost like self-aware almost, where she has to give a reason, like what is the world going to say? Well, I have to give them a real reason. I have to tell them it was their fault. It was the world's fault, you know? So what I'm talking about is all the stuff she says about her home life. I noticed that in a lot of these mass killer types, they have a major judgment of the world. They are not at all the victims they pretend to be. At all. You know, I'm thinking about the Supreme Gentleman. There's probably other better examples, but it's one that she idolizes. And, you know, all these mass shooters, some of the Columbine, the things they would say about the world, how they felt like they deserved something from the world, and the contempt they had for them, the Supreme Gentleman, you know, how can no woman be into me? Like, I'm the nicest guy. I keep trying the best. And these women, they go after these other guys. So he goes out there and commits a killing. They all spoke in this way that almost like feigned apathy and disgust. But it's very, very emotional at its core and judgmental. It makes me think about how people have to tell themselves that Jeffrey Dahmer, for example, they have to tell themselves that Jeffrey Dahmer has no emotions at all. He's a psychopath, and that he's different. But he's actually he's more of what you are. He's more of what everybody is. Emotional, out of control, angry. And they all have this. They're not at all the victims they ever pretend to be. The Supreme Gentleman was a mass killer. I forget his name, but it was one of his nicknames or something like that. He was a mass killer. It's one of these guys who committed one of these things, okay? She says, I've grown to hate people and society. It's truly not my fault, though. It never was. You know, I bet you a lot of people think that. They believe that about her. She was 15. As things come out, we'll probably get some taste of what she was talking about, if this is really her writing. Alcoholic dad, I don't really know. But whatever comes out, people will say, you know, it was never her fault. And, you know, it's like, they'd be right in a sense. But I wonder if they really know what they're talking about. Because if she really believed that, if she really, really believed that it was never her fault, her coming to this hatred, she would be free. She would be free in that moment. You know, she talks about people being so blind and nothing and worthless, and she has a vantage point. Like, we all have a vantage point with each other. We can see what each other... We have a better look at somebody else than ourselves. But it's only a little bit right. And it misses how evil you are. If you really believe that it was never your fault, then her vendetta would have ended. Her vendetta against the world would end. You would see that it was never anyone else's fault either. But anyways, that's the sad thing too. You know how free she probably was. Even if there was a lot of crap and like the alcoholic dad, but, you know, that's only for some time, and you end up growing up. If you just endure, you end up getting your freedom, you become an adult, and She wrote about society as this irredeemable scum. Same way she saw her parents, by the way. But if she really saw the world like that, I think that'd be pretty freeing, don't you think, chat? Don't you think, folks? What do you think about that? Or am I an incel shooter? If the world is trash and scum, if no one's good, let's put it like that for the Christians. Let's do this for the Christians. No one is good. If the world is not good, then now you don't have to pretend. Now you don't have to pretend. You don't have to play that game. It should be freeing. But anyways, blah, 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 about the shooting. Look, I had a lot of thoughts about this, I guess. 888-775-3773. What else? Let's skip all that. Let's move on from that. Natalie. Why? I guess, look, it's proof it's not incels. It's proof it's not just, they say these incels, these white guys, these white incels who hate women and hate minorities. They want to shoot up schools. It's like, no, it's hateful people, right? It's hate. It's disaffected and antisocial. Starts in the home. You feel, yeah, you feel like apart from society, left out or whatever. Anyways, I see a lot of people saying, oh, she just, she was very hateful, hated the world. And they're right. I mean, she wrote it in the manifesto, but people are so shallow, like, yeah, she hated the world. Such an easy explanation, right? Just explain, oh, well, there you go. That's the answer right there. She hated the world. Move on. And go back to your lives. And you get frustrated at your children, or you yell at your wife or girlfriend, or, you get mad. You scream in your car. I saw someone screaming in their car the other day, and they didn't know that I was looking at them. And then they got really embarrassed. And they were screaming in that car. I don't know what happened. They were mad. Screaming in your car. And you're like, wow, that's crazy about Natalie, huh? Anyways, why'd you cut me off? It's crazy. Is Manifesto confirmed by mainstream media yet? No, it's not. Like I was saying earlier, and I was trying to be clear here, this Manifesto and the excerpts I read and commented on is alleged to be connected to her. It is an interesting connection because the journalist who shared this says it is the same privated Google document shared by the alleged account of Natalie, her social media. But this Google document was privated. Allegedly, this journalist says that this person who had access to it showed her that they had access through video. They videotaped themselves accessing this not publicly available Google document. But none of this confirmed by mainstream media, not last I checked, to be clear, to be absolutely clear. But all this was from this account, Pagliacci the Hated. It's Slatsism, which I believe is the account of Anna Slatsin, journalist and stuff, I think. Okay? So, yeah, the mainstream media does, however, mention this, but all they say about it is the authorities are aware of writings. I want to get you the exact wording here. I want to get you the exact wording. As it stands now, authorities can't confirm if these writings are authentic, but they were shared by someone alleged to have connection with her. Like I was telling you earlier, all that, stuff with the alleged long-distance German boyfriend What, you couldn't get a boyfriend? You couldn't get a boyfriend in America? You couldn't get an American boyfriend? What's going on over there in Wisconsin? What's the school makeup? What's going on with immigration? How many boys were there? No young white boy wanted to play tag with her? Well, she's 15. I don't know what I'm talking about. Look, let's move on. That was Sam. She's dead now. There's other people dead. And anger was at the center of it. And why is that even like a mystery? Like a grand mystery. We got to do the studies. And where was the gun? Exactly at what time? And who bought it? What money was handed over? Why are we playing this desperate game? Just say either say, like, stop saying, oh, why, what could it be? What caused this? Either admit what you want to do, which is gun control, or realize that you're saying something stupid and you do know what's going on. You're lying and you do know why it happened. We all know it's there. It's all over their manifesto. It's all over their lives. It's anger, disaffect. You get it. So that's what I'm saying with that. All right, we're done with that. Let's move on. He Black, thoughts on Chris Brunet, that looks French, versus Nick Funte. Nick Funte? I don't know what you talk about, sir. But I never got to mention that piece of news with Daniel when he was here. It's not that important, whatever. But there was apparently someone that went to Nick Fuentes' house. And I think the law was on the side of this person. This person went to his house, and he's like, why is this person, this online psychopath who was giving him guff online and shows up to your house? You're like, you want to fight me online? Now you're here at my place. You're talking all this smack. You're going to get pepper sprayed. Get out of my property. Like, what are you doing? And the law enforcement seems to have sided with this person. It's crazy, but whatever. Amazing super chat. How about we do this? Let's do super chats and let's move on from this. We should be off this. We're done. The shooter. Amazing. So, thank you so much for the super chats. Very nice. Very cool. Oh, yes, of course, we must remember the like button. What are you doing? What are you people doing? You've been sitting here. You've been talking through the whole thing. And that's fine. That's what the chat's for. But you're there. You're like, bah, 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 bah. You're like, ha, ha, ha. You're like, what an idiot. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Ah, but you're like enjoying it. Or it's like, he's awesome, whatever. And you're there. You're chatting. You're loud. Your shoes are off. You're like, bring me a plate. And you won't even click the like button. What are you doing? Click the like button. Show some decorum. Don't be rude. We got some super chats from very kind people who have plenty of decorum. John T. Psycho. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, John. Appreciate the super chat. Says, sometimes you are waiting for people to die for you to be free. Their existence is controlling you. Forgiveness is easy. It just doesn't gratify you immediately. That, I think, is an amazing super chat. Am I wrong? I think that's an amazing super chat. Are you saying that you can overcome this by forgiving, John? Because that's very deep. If that's what you're saying, that people are waiting. There's all sorts of people waiting for their parents to die, for whatever, and they're waiting to live. It's crazy, and all they got to do is forgive. And if I just may nitpick, it just doesn't gratify you immediately, but it really could. It really, really could. If you really forgave and just dropped it, it really could gratify you. You could be free immediately, and you wouldn't have to wait for someone to die. You wouldn't have to wait till you're even 18. Now, for most people, you could tell, for Natalie, that's just practical. You'd be like, hey, you'll be 18 soon. There's no reason to torpedo your life. There's a way out of this. This really can't pass. You just have to let it pass. You're angry, and you've come up with all sorts of crazy ideas, and you may even be smart, but you're wrong. And you're angry and hateful. You're worse than all these people you're calling trash and scum. And you can even prove that. But anyways, So for them, yeah, practically AT, you can go. But even for her at 15, before that even happens, you could be free right then. If you just realize the way you can't control yourself, the way you weren't at fault for what happened in life and what happened to you, how you got brought here, the family you were born into. The very same way that is, it's the same for all these people she was calling scum and trash. It's the same for them. And in that moment, you're free. Thank you so much, John T. Psycho. We got more super chats here. The Lord of the North. I forget what. I want you to be the Lord of the North. The Lord of the North. Or whatever. Pick a cardinal direction, Lord Spike Protein. You're the best, man. You're always so generous. Very cool. And I'm just going to keep it coming, Lord Spike Protein. Just keep the shows coming. Thank you, honestly. Very generous, y'all. Appreciate it, Mildew Group. Appreciate it, Aries and Games for Rec. Thanks for the support. What's up, DLive.tv/Gorgonzola. The Prime Baller. The Prime Baller. Amazing. What's up, Galahad? Blur. He's Lord of the Spike Protein. I mean, that's just it. Is the Roseanne interview up yet? You know, Jesse keeps hyping it up. He's the best. Jesse's truly a steward. I don't know how to put it. But he's like, Roseanne, you can say no to this. But the anchor baby's here. And he brings me on, and I get to say, hey, thanks, Roseanne. You're amazing. And, you know, just like Jesse, I heard this black man say to forgive your mama. My life has changed. And so I got to say that little thing on the Roseanne show. Very nice. No, thank you, LSP. He always says that I remind him of his very smart genius son. It's an honor, LSP. You must have a genius boy. Anyways, I think that's Thursday. Roseanne Barr, Jesse Lee Peterson. You know, I send everyone the first Roseanne Barr interview. It's just a good one. It really is. If you want to send it if you want friends and family, you don't want to, how do I put it? You don't want a Jesse thump. Maybe you've done that already a little bit. And you just want people, you just want to have, but you still want to share them. You want to just share it at least, you at least heard people say, okay, you don't have to thump, but you could share it and then just walk away. Here's a little one. This one's a good one for you. The Roseanne Barr interview and the Your Mom's House podcast. Those appearances with Jesse, if you got to send something to someone, a rundown. It's got it all. He's from a plantation. When why, the who, the forgive, what it's all about. So if you want to send somebody a little gift this Christmas, just send them these amazing Jesse Lee Peterson interviews and give them a little taste of what you've learned. And you can leave it alone. You can leave it alone, and then you can donate to Bond to show thanks and appreciation for that lovely video. It's an amazing thing. People do want to overcome. I hear it on the shows. They call them. They call Joel and James all the time. And Jesse. It's amazing. So what else? Are we done with this? What was I going to say? I have a caller coming in. We were doing the super chats. We were moving on from Natalie. I didn't quite get to say this. So real quick, the female spirit rules. Okay, the female spirit rules. It really does. It's a lie about this so-called patriarchy. Where is it? Show it to me. Maybe there's a geriarchy. The old people that already gave up and they lost or they never had children but where's this patriarchy? Where is this patriarchy? I don't quite see it. It's a big old trick being played on us that there is this patriarchy and they got this iron fist. Where are they? I wish you could show me the patriarchy. They got us scared of a boogeyman, but they can't even point him out. These male shooters, they're always these weaselly, weak people. Weak. Just weak, beyond weak, emotionally out of control, looking for love. Originally respecters of women until they weren't. Cowardly, sneaky, plotting. Gun-free zones. They'll go to a gun-free zone. They won't kill they won't kill their own parents. I disavow that. I don't want any violence. I don't agree with that at all. But this person wrote about their manifesto and how much they hated their parents' scum. It's like, why didn't you go after them? You know, there's a whole spiritual thing there. They got fear. You can't go kill your gods, the gods you hate. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. That's why you got to forgive your parents. But anyways, they're judgmental, hateful, catty, talking ish about people in their heads all the time, thinking you're better. The fruits, all of these fruits are all the opposite of the masculine. So I just wanted to say that, I really believe Jesse when he says, this won't change. This won't be fixed. Not when you get gun control. This won't be fixed until you got men running schools and men running the families again. That's it. Okay? You got these guys. Sometimes they even call themselves incel. They'll adopt the name involuntary celibate. Involuntary celibate, it's the world. Women, see this guy, for example. Many men are not approaching women because they know they'll get rejected. Women have very high standards, and it's not worth giving some women an ego boost from rejecting you. This was in response to some post. 45% of men aged 18 to 25 have never approached a woman in person, never. 60 to 70% of men say the number one reason they don't approach women is fear of rejection. You have to be welcoming of rejection. If you fear being rejected, you'll never make a move. She says there's plenty of good women out there who are ready for a good man. Okay, so. These guys with their conclusions, really people, they think they're so smart. They think they're so smart. They got to figure it out. Like they know the future because some stats or whatever. Ambition, ego, getting offended, being able to be disrespected, that being a possibility with you. Oh, you disrespected me. Being able to be rejected. That's a funny one. Being able to be rejected. What is rejected? What do you mean rejected? I'm rejected. Someone said no to. What does that mean? You're taking that on as an identity? Like, what does that mean? You're just describing a factual event. You're just describing an event. A rejection. I'm rejected. What is rejected? Imagine being... a man doesn't even believe in that. You can't be rejected. Just someone said no. Being rejected. They rejected me. The world... I just keep getting rejected and rejected. A man is pure love. A man is impossible to be rejected. You're just like, the world can hate you, but you're the same. Being able to get offended, being able to be disrespected, feminine qualities. Okay, let's move on faster here. Let's get to these callers. I'm just going on and on. What else? You can't be a Christian and be subject to women. You can't be a Christian and be involuntary celibate. And I try to avoid that. I try to avoid saying what's a Christian, what's not. Like, it's not really, But on some things, it's like you can't hate your fellow man to be a Christian. You can't be... Okay, anyways, we're done with this. Let's get to the calls. 888-775-3773. It's my own ego at this point. Trying to get everything in. I want to say everything I wrote. Okay, we got caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Manuel, California.
What's up, Manuel? Nice to hear from you.
I know. How you been?
All is well, sir.
Nice. I called Hank the other day. I don't know how true it is, but he said that you may or may not have read the Unabomber's Manifesto.
You said what?
You may or may not have read the Unabomber Manifesto.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I read quite a bit of it.
All right, okay. How do you compare that to one of those manifestos? Have you read other ones?
Yeah, man. I mean, really brief. Let me think. First, have I read any others? Probably. Like, as these things have come through the news, I've probably read a few. Nothing that stands out. I can't even name one, except for the Unabomber Manifesto, but I did read I've read quite a bit of that, and it's not too long. I forget. I believe it's in segments, and there's a segment I read, but he basically his whole reasoning. I read it, and you asked me how does it compare to manifestos? Well, it's a great question. In the way that they're the same, they have this anger towards the world. They're actually quite judgmental. They're not the victims at all they pretend to be, and they're going through their normal lives, judging and hating people in their heads and blah, 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 and pretending to be victims. That they all share this. The Unabomber is no different. And in fact, they all come up with crazy conclusions in their heads. For example, the Unabomber had this, he believed, he already in his mind had a preconceived path that technology is taking. He was positive. How do I sum this up? How do I summarize this? Basically, that the end goal of technology right now, from when he was writing this, he basically said that the way it's going to be is it's going to be this oppressive thing. That's the only eventual end goal, that it's all going to be captured and no one's going to have privacy and blah, blah, blah. And then he committed all this stuff, and then did he die or did he go to jail and then died or whatever, right?
Yeah, he just died last year in jail.
So he torpedoed his life, killed a bunch of people, went to jail, believed this stuff. Now he's dead, and now we're seeing interesting trends in technology that go against his preconceived notion, you know? There are signs, there are signs, and I'm trying not to be too long-winded, but basically, if you've noticed, it hasn't just been how he predicted. On the grand scale, there's been players like Trump and Elon Musk who have used capital, we're talking billions of dollars, to carve out sections of the internet and social media. But even in smaller ways, it's been shown that you can't really control AI and certain, how do I put this, search functions of AI, that it really is a technology that is more of like a Pandora's box. Once it's open and the people have it, the public has it. You can't really take it from them, kind of thing. So anyways, I'm rambling, but you follow me a bit. He made these conclusions about life and went off and committed certain things, but it was just something he made up. It's not
right.
Turning out exactly like he said, in my opinion.
Right, yeah. There's a lot of, I would say, ideas he had that, won't come to fruition as in where technology would be. A lot of things that he does say about how, like, political groups are, ideological thinking is, the way of manipulation on the mind of how, like, you can get, like, people to protest about something that has no meaning. A lot of that, yeah. But, I mean, you don't really have to be a rocket scientist to figure that portion out.
And that it's been like that forever.
Right. His big thing was going back to a primitive age to where things weren't as, like, advanced and all that, but then going back in that time would mean that you lose civilization, which in his mind would be better than where civilization is going.
I don't know.
It's
one of those. Say again. Sorry, my bad.
They all have the crazy idea in the long run, like in that. I read that lady's, obviously, I don't know if it's true or not, that 15-year-old kid, but, you know, they're talking about, like, restarting civilization in a way that they feel is best, and it's still just a mess, you know. It's not going to work.
That's an interesting. You're saying if they got a chance to rebuild, it would just be another mess.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like playing God. What makes you think your idea? Because I don't know how true that manifesto that 15-year-old wrote, but it talks about how, like, women could control things. But, you know, even if they were to control things, we already see how it is, a mess. So it's only going to get worse.
Say again, what did you just say about controlling things?
In that manifesto that child wrote, the 15-year-old.
Yes.
It talks about, like,
allegedly.
Allegedly, right? That's what I'm saying. Allegedly, it talks about how women should be in control.
Okay,
I'm shortening.
You're talking about in the alleged manifesto, the one that was from Anna Slatson.
Correct.
Are you sure? Or are you talking about the image from Discord? Are you talking about the image that has a black background? Or is this written on white online documents?
It was on X. Pretty sure it was from the same girl that you showed the 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍� or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was looking it up last night because have you ever, or anyways, I'm getting off topic. I was reading it last night, and in the one that I was reading, she was talking about how that women need to be in control.
I'm aware.
And that they need to be pushed to the side. I'm not saying the exact words for censorship.
No. So let me I'm just gonna scrolling through her thing because I gotta say, and I could be wrong, but I think you're wrong on that. I don't think Anna Slanson reported on the radical feminist angle on this story. So apparently there's another alleged clipping from some manifesto. But I'm looking at the thread right now. I'm looking at the thread from Anna Slanson where she posted all 6 pages of the alleged manifesto that they were able to access thanks to the alleged German long-distance boyfriend. I'm looking at the 6 pages and I could be wrong, but I'm looking at, and then I don't see the radical feminist post because I know what you're talking about. There was another image going around alleged to be connected to Natalie, and it reads a little different. It reads something like,
you get what I'm getting at, though, right?
I'd seen the image, and I'm trying to show the people this one too. Again, this is another one of those alleged ones connected to her. If you ask me, this one has even less credible. It seems like less credible just because it doesn't even read the same as the other 6 pages. Which, by the way, the 6 pages aren't even confirmed. But this one right here doesn't even read like the way the other one was written. But to be quick here, so you can say what you wanted to say, she's talking about how men can't be reformed; they're irredeemable. She mentions some Twitter account that they say is a radical feminist. They can't be reformed. They're effing scourge. They got to be removed. The only solution is to exterminate all men. Every single male must be wiped out, from babies to the elderly, blah, blah, blah. I don't care if they're husbands, sons, blah, this is my mission. They're parasitic sludge. If you ask the anchor baby in my opinion, I don't know. This doesn't even really read like the other one. But hey, whatever.
Right.
Go on, my bad. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me do that.
Yeah, what I was getting at is I wasn't saying if it was real or not, but when you read manifestos, they always come up with some same concept of how one situation has to end, or person or society or civilization to start a new one. And their idea of what they want to start as new is just another mess. It's just going to cause more problems. It's not the solution.
Yeah, like how are you going to make more women? It's like,
right.
They didn't quite think this through. We need to exterminate every man, then women. Then women will have the chance to rebuild an order that makes sense. And then that will be the last generation on Earth ever.
Yeah, you still need a man if you wanted to carry that civilization on. But
right. It's like,
that's why, like, when I read that one too, I was like, man, that sounds a little too out there, because regardless of how crazy you are, mad, angry, like, that just seems a little far. I've been trying to read the one in I can't remember the other. Remember the last trans? Not that this one was, but the other trans one. I've been trying to find that manifesto, but
did that ever get like published or anything?
I've heard it's got published, but I've looked around and looked around and looked around. I haven't found it.
What are you expecting to find in there?
I just want to read it. I want to understand the person's mind.
And what do you think you'll find? What do you think you'll find in there that'll let you understand that you're not understanding now?
I just want to know, like, what makes a person really, like, pull the trigger on something. Like, I know for sure if I had to kill someone, I would, out of self-defense, out of necessity, but not out of pure hate or anger. Like, there's something in you to push you over that edge. And not that I'm going to find that in their reading. I'm just kind of fascinated. I'd like to read it, just like the Unabomber one I read. I read the whatever those other ones were, and the Columbine one. Like, I just something that fascinates me, reading manifestos, because a lot of them just have different ideas of civilization or philosophy. And I kind of want to understand, like, what did they read growing up? Where do they get their ideas from? Like with
but
that
you haven't
girl,
realized they're just mad and they're just like you haven't I just don't see the mystery. And maybe I'm the unsophisticated one here who's missing something. I can admit that, but I don't see the mystery. What's the grand mystery? It's like, what ideologies? Usually they're just reading something someone else said, and then they just turn it into, and usually they're reading something wacky someone else said, and then they're just making it even wackier. And it's like, why? Because they're angry. They hate the world. They hate the world. They hate themselves. They hate everybody in it. They have anger. It's like, I don't see the mystery. I don't see the mystery. I don't think I could find anything in a manifesto that I haven't found in myself that hasn't already answered that question.
Right.
You never been angry. You never been. Yeah, like you never felt murderous anger?
Yeah, I have.
No, this feels wrong almost, like I'm asking you to tell your vices on air. But
no,
all I'm saying is I'm remembering every time I hear, like, for example, Jesse talk about how any man with anger is a murderer. I think about this one time. I remember, and I could probably think about others, but I think about this time because I remember getting so mad about something I can't even remember what it was. But I was in my car. This was years ago. And a long time ago. And I was in my car. Not even the Vic. That's here in L.A. So this is whatever. You don't need the details. The point is I got so mad. And I was fuming about something. And I punched my windshield. And I cracked it like crazy. I was a little shocked that it even happened. And then I just remember just like time passing. And I'm looking back. And I'm like, who was that guy? But and as I sometimes imagine the face I must have had and the yelling I must have been doing. And so anytime I hear that, I look at that, Nick, and I'm just like, yeah, I totally see how anyone could feel murderous anger, and it's not that unique. And it's like you don't even be pushed like that. Like more people have been pushed over the edge than they realize. Is all I'm trying to say.
Right. No, I understand that. I've been there. I've been angry and depressed and all that. My thing with like those guys, like the Unabomber guy is like a high IQ, and I want to understand, like, not understand, maybe I'm wording things wrong, but I want to know, like, where did you learn your ideology, as in like philosophy? Did you read like Plato, Aristotle, some random stuff like that? You know, like, what was your
Where's
actual
this coming from?
idea? Were you even a Christian? You know, like, I'm sure you heard of David Duke. You know, a lot of people heard of him.
I think so. Did Jesse interview him? Or maybe not.
I don't know. Did Jesse interview him?
No, never
He's
mind.
like banned from everything, YouTube and
I don't know. Maybe I don't know who you're talking about. Sorry. What were you saying? Try not to name drop. I feel like there's a very known name, but go on. You were saying, what were you saying about it? Go ahead. Real quick.
He did work with a famous author and from Russia. And like just from reading other things that I've read in my past, like it's just kind of crazy to hear about like what people or two people getting along that you wouldn't think would get along, or someone's idea of a philosophy that you didn't think would align with them. That's what I kind of get interested in, you know, because then I'll start reading like books that they've read or stuff like that. It's kind of maybe not understanding, but I know what you mean. When you say, like,
people.
anger.
I know some people like to academically kind of piece together some of like where these things come from, and like, you know, they'll go back and they'll try and, you know, so there's these schools taught Marxism, and they got it from this guy. His name was Marx, and so I get it. I don't even know if that's what you meant, but I don't. Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, no, you're right though. The anger doesn't matter. Like,
true,
I
right?
know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I see no mystery on that. But no, I get it. Yeah, kind of like piecing together like where's this even coming from? Some of this thinking, it's a lot more ancient than people think sometimes. Let's see. Anything else you want to talk about, sir?
No, I'm good. I'll text you one of these days though.
Right.
I've been lagging on the recordings and all that. I've been doing my crypto stuff.
It's no problem. Do what you got to do. But I know you want to. Yeah, we'll talk. I know you were very willing to help Bond. It's great. We'll talk. Manuel, pleasure. Call me again.
Right. I'll see it.
888-775-3773. What else? Shall we just rock through these calls? You need to see this, though. The American anger baby. I'm punching through the windshield. I don't even remember what I was mad about. This was years ago. Mitsubishi Lancer. That was murderous anger. That was pushed over the edge anger. That was... Anyways. You're telling me you haven't felt that? Listener at home, don't think of yourself so highly. Okay. I'm trying to show you something real quick because there's some slander happening, okay? And they're sharing this photo online, okay, allegedly, okay? Maybe they're not sharing this at all. I heard some rumor, which might not be true, but they're sharing this online and they're saying the anchor baby is connected to the shooting in New York, even though they've already found the person who did it. People are trying to slander the anchor baby. They're trying to connect him to the CEO shooting. We're going to debunk that slanderous lie right now. That's not Luigi Mangione. That's not Luigi Mangione. That's the anchor baby in Canada years ago. So whoever's putting out these lies has to stop. Whoever's putting out this slanderous lie, it's got to stop, okay? Yes, we're getting the side-by-side to show you how deep this slanderous lie goes. Look at this. That's not Luigi Mangione. Luigi Mangione is the shooter. That's the anchor baby. You guys are so rude. So whoever's been sharing the photo, trying to connect me to the shooting, it's not going to work. It doesn't even look like me. Okay, those are two different people. So cool it. Not cool. Okay, liberals are people with anger. You heard that one from Jesse? Has it been proven true for you yet? Especially conservatives. If they have anger, they're just liberals. Okay? And there's all sorts of conservatives happy with the Luigi Mangione stuff. We don't talk about violence. We don't talk about killing. We say you got to love your enemies. And we say you must forgive. So, just want to say that. Let's get to another caller. Your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Terry from Oregon.
What's up, Terry? Thanks for your call. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, well, I guess I wanted to talk about the shooting that took place, this weird girl. I thought it was interesting that people were speculating she was trans. Why do you think that is?
So, my impression is it's just the conservative, so-called conservatards with their terrible reaction to the world, just as bad as the liberals they criticize. You know, if anybody heard Joel Friday today, you know, he makes a great point.
No, I didn't. Actually, I missed his show today.
You know, the guy gets it on these things about how Christians react wrong. Like he's really always trying to show that how we're reacting badly to the world. That's what it is. I think these conservatives, so-called, they saw the shooting. What was it? There was that other trans shooting. They're trying to. They're sick. It's the two sides. They keep trying to pin the shootings on us and the guns on us, but it's actually the LGBTs doing it. And so I think it's that, and I don't know. Maybe there was some bad reporting. You know how it is when things happen. You want to report fast, even if it's not necessarily true.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What do you think it is?
It was weird. I don't know. I thought it was a weird speculation, and I kind of am uncomfortable how quickly, you know, things come out. I tend to not pay attention to these things until the next day or the day after, you know, just to kind of let things settle because, yeah, there's always a lot of weird speculation that turns out to not be true. But yeah, this is an interesting situation. So it seems like she's some kind of like man-hater. But it's interesting that she went to a school, her own school, and targeted, other children. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, she should have killed her parents. Am I allowed to say that? Should I not say? That's obvious that I'm not saying. It's obvious I'm not saying I want those people to die, right?
It's so strange. All of these situations are strange. Like these school shooters types, they seem to be totally possessed. Like they don't even seem to be, I don't know. They're like not even there,
Like it's not even reasonable, you're saying?
Yeah, they're not. There's something totally weird about all of them, isn't there? Like they've all got this really bizarre rationale that makes no sense. Yeah, they're not rational. They're not reasonable. They can't be reasoned with. They have like very bizarre beliefs. I don't know. I've ran with some like really, man-hating women in my life, and I don't think any of them would ever like do anything like that.
Well, you don't think most people would do anything like that?
Yeah, maybe
that's what they say about every criminal and shooter and killer. I just never would have thought they would have done something like that.
Well, I don't know. Yeah,
but I don't even know about the man-hating stuff. If you ask the anchor baby, this is now the anchor baby's opinion. Nothing has been confirmed by mainstream media on the level of on the. If I had to put give it a number on how much I feel it's accurate, I'd give it a strong 6 on the initial 6 pages that talks nothing about radical feminism and hating men, and I'd give it a 3 out of 10 on this Discord thing that came out alleging that it's hers and she's writing about exterminating all men.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Even teenagers that get into thinking that much are pretty strange as well. But if it was the case, it makes sense why she had like an online boyfriend who was like her, I don't know, enabler and simp. And it's interesting how far gone somebody can be and still like, have those kind of people in their life. Because, I don't know, when I was in the radical feminist world, there were like still men like in the periphery who were like just looking to simp.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
Did you?
I know. They creep me out, so I always stayed away from them because because it doesn't. They seem to have like a weird agenda,
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, if you're like drawn to that, if you're drawn to like people who are wounded, and are wounded and angry, then yeah, there's something really off with you.
And wounded, angry people have to create a whole story to make sense of what they're saying. They got to make a whole manifesto. They got to get someone on their side over there in Germany saying, yeah, the world hated you. And R.I.P. Samantha, if this is really his account, the world made you commit suicide, a world that hated you. You have to create this whole story. You got to leave out certain parts, embellish others. You could totally see how Satan can have the mind of someone, and they're going around acting like a victim in their heads, and they're like, look at how nasty, they're such trashy people, what they've done to me. They're going to see what I'm going to do to them. I'm going to wake the world up somehow, or whatever, it's all trash. And then you could totally see how they could do something like that, and in that moment, Satan shows them, and they're like, I don't know if I really felt that way. I don't know if I really felt that way if I really needed to do all this. You could probably, I could totally see Satan just taking the wool off and, right?
I don't know how it works when we, but I do. I don't know. I know that the devil destroys people completely and like inverts reality to turn good into bad and bad into good. And Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. It is. I know it's strange for a woman to commit like killings like this. Like it's less common. So I understand why there's like a lot of speculation, I guess, when it goes down. But
why do you think that is?
Why do I think it's less common for women to do that?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's biological. I just think women are like more risk averse and less likely to be violent in that way. Women are more violent socially. I would say women tend to take out their aggression in different ways. So like women can be very destructive and aggressive, but they'll either like turn it inward on themselves or they'll not to say, I mean, women do kill, but just I think the rates of it are far less, just statistically. So, but women are violent in terms of like murdering people's reputations or like their social standing or, being violent in that way, like emotionally violent.
But that's just because they're weaker physically.
I think that has a lot to do with it, yeah.
If they weren't, either be more...
Imagine the hell we could raise.
Well, it might be just how men are violent. They might, if it was flipped, they'd be as violent as men are now, I guess. I think.
I mean, yeah, women can be pretty violent too, but I don't think they're,
they're just not strong enough to be violent. They're more afraid. They wouldn't want to, they're going to incur a bigger penalty, a physical penalty at initiating violence like that. Here's what I think, I don't think you're necessarily wrong. I think they just don't, they have less, there's just less avenues for them to do that. These mass killers, they're always set apart from society, disaffected. They're antisocial. Women aren't usually any of those things because they kind of get everything. You know what I'm saying? They kind of don't need to do all that.
Don't need to.
They're not going to find themselves in that situation because they got friends and both friends
when women are. But I guess when women get more desperate, that's when those more violent traits tend to come out as well. Like, so you see, like, if they aren't well socially adjusted, then they tend to be more violent. But I was thinking also about how men commit suicide at higher rates as well.
Say again?
Men, I've heard about men committing suicide at higher rates, or maybe like women may attempt it, but men are more successful.
Oh, true.
So I do think that there's something in women that's like maybe just a little bit more averse to that kind of I don't know. Like they're just not as good as killing, whether it be themselves or others.
Can't do anything right. Leave it up to the men.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But it's an anti-male society, not an anti-feminist society. There's no patriarchy. This patriarchy stuff is a hoax. It's a boogeyman. It's a geriarchy, if anything, of old people who already gave up and already given into their wives, already gave into the feminism, already gave up their Christianity, and we are now living in it's a big old like a trick. They got it on the banners and on the billboards and the posters. They all say patriarchy, sit down, but that's all a lie. It's all a lie. We're in the feminine world. We're living it. And the old guard is old, and the kids are running amok, and on paper they're still in charge, the geriarchy, but the women it's their world now, and this is it right here.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen much patriarchy like in my life, to be honest.
Right.
It's very it's very secluded or very small communities that it seems to appear in. You don't even see it in the church really very much. So yeah, I do think you're right. It's interesting though how many women are easily come to this idea that there is a patriarchy that's oppressing them, when it's just the opposite, really. I've always wondered about that. How do we buy this lie of patriarchy when the reality is that we're not?
Because it's on the
in
billboards.
That circumstance.
It's on all the posters. It's on the billboards.
Billboard.
Yeah, I'm being metaphorical a little bit.
I've read about it. You know, I've read about it. I've definitely seen, I guess, feminist art about it, and been at events where they talk about it and that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so it makes sense that the men are the one who are going to become disaffected. It's not a justification of it, but I think it's an answer. I think it's one possible answer I'll put forth to the gender gap in mass killing and mass self-killing, but not all at once, which is also known as suicide.
Never.
What a mess. Terry.
Unaliving. Don't say the S word.
I know. I've said a whole bunch of words this show, I think. A whole bunch of no words. I think I told children to kill their parents, but I didn't really. I was just saying, why wouldn't Natalie go after the ones that she was like the ones that affected her the most and she hated the most? You know, it's a weird thing. A fear of your gods, the parents. It's a weird thing. You know, you go to these innocents, you go to a Christian school, you kill the young, you kill the innocent. And they have a whole story about it, why. We're going to push the world closer to some sort of awakening, some sort of revolution. But Terry, anything else you want to say about this?
No.
Thanks for letting me ramble on and all that, Terry. Appreciate your call. Call me again.
All right, bye.
Bye. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
It's Derek in Nashville.
Derek, how you doing, sir? It was nice meeting you.
All is well. It was nice meeting you. I was very helped by being able to visit. I wanted to make a quick comment, then I have a question for you. When I was there, I will tell you one of the things that it was like a little thing that happened, but it made a lot of sense to me. We were all visiting, and I forget what Jesse asked, but I remember Doug said, I forget what was asked, but he's like, when you think you have it, you don't have it. He didn't say it exactly that way. And I was like, that's exactly right. And then I didn't know he was going to be hosting church on Sunday. I just wanted to say I got so much out of church this last Sunday. And for whatever it's worth, I know you have 24 hours to fill on a 24-hour network. I've listened to him talk for an hour or two every day. I really got a lot out of what he had to say. So if you can pass that along, I really appreciated church on Sunday and what he had to offer. So
nice. Big mug Doug. He's got this big old mug here. That might be a show idea. No, he could do better than that. He could do better than that. But I think so too. James, he's got a viral show idea. He says he should just go. I told him just go on the air and just go online and just tell the world, hey, prove that it's flat to me, or prove that it's round. Highest viewed show on the Bond Network. Boom, overnight.
But I just got so much out of it. And I don't know why James gets all the credit for James has good hair, but you always have good hair too. Why does he get all the credit for the good hair?
Someone started because his is straight, like white people, like it's good hair, as opposed to
you get that wavy,
Chicano,
the wavy Canadian
or
hair?
black hair. Wavy Canadian, yeah. The curly, the classic kinks of Canadian hair.
That's a thing. I do have but no, Doug was excellent. I'd listen to, I really appreciated his input. So for whatever it's worth. So I've been bopping around since I saw y'all, and I went on a work trip. And going back to what Doug said, he's like, when you think you have it, you don't have it. And I was in a situation where to be discreet about it, I was around a colleague that I don't usually have to be around all of that much. And it was a really difficult, older than me. It was very aggressive. And it wasn't just with me, it was with other people. And I got asked my opinion about kind of how things were going. The one thing, before I kind of got into my head, I usually lie about things. I just play nice. And being nice isn't helpful. And instead, I was truthful, and I go, this is how I feel about the situation, and was very unemotional about it. And that worked out well. But then I had to spend more time with this particular individual. And because I couldn't get out of the situation, I found myself judging. And I knew I was judging. And you don't have it, Derek. And I kept judging and judging. And
Wait, you were judging him or you? What are you saying?
Well, I was judging him, and then I started judging myself for judging him.
And you were telling yourself you don't have it. Or whatever. I'm following now, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
right,
keep
exactly. Going. And it kept going and going. And it was all in my head. And, normally I don't, normally you can just like exit a situation. And my question for you is, as I started to wake up, if I was feeling any certain way about something, like I just lean into it, right? I'm like, well, this is happening, right? But I kept fighting it. And it seems like my question is, would it have been better if I just leaned into it and like, yep, you're doing this right now, and just resign myself to it?
Yeah, what does leaning into it look like in that situation?
Well, instead of fighting it, when Jesse, I think there was a gentleman today, he was talking about smoking pot, and he's like, just see yourself doing it, smoking the pot, right? But I wasn't seeing myself judging. I was just judging, and I got
How do you know you weren't seeing yourself judging?
Well, because I kept getting frustrated. I just kept getting and then once I got out of the situation, like all was well. But I kept, I wasn't, and I could even feel like a tension in my body. Didn't you, what did you say when you were driving with your car? What was that Mitsubishi? What'd you do?
I punched the windshield. I was so mad.
Oh yeah. Well, allegedly, a much younger version of me allegedly might have done that a couple of times myself. But I
was in the car thinking about what someone said. That's all. And I kept thinking about someone said, and I'm just like, okay, stop thinking about it. And then I just kept going back to thinking about it. And I'm just like, but why did they freaking say that? And what did they mean by this? And then I was like, okay, but stop thinking about it. And then I just go back to thinking about it. Why do you think I kept going back to thinking about it?
Right. Well, that's a similar situation.
Why do you think I kept? Oh, okay. I guess I'm asking you what you want to ask me, but can I ask you anyways? What do you think, Nick, in the Mitsubishi Lancer? Why did he keep going back? He's telling himself, stop thinking about what that person said. And he kept going back to that, though, and getting madder and madder. Why?
Because you were thinking about it?
Right. That's part of it. But it's like, yeah, you're right. I'm thinking about it. And so I'm like, okay, stop thinking about it. And I go back to thinking about it. Why do I keep going back to thinking about it?
Because you think you can control it?
No, because I wanted to think about it.
Oh, right.
Because I wanted to be mad. It felt better to be mad.
Yeah. But and that's what's, I didn't want, well, apparently I did want to judge. Otherwise I wouldn't have done it. Yeah.
Because look, and you're talking about something that I think a lot of people can relate to, and myself included. And honestly, the part that people relate to, I think I wanted to speak on briefly is this moment where you walked away or whatever, it was over and all was well. It speaks to a certain attitude you should be having at all times. And the attitude, how do I put this? It's just you really, really don't want to fight with people. And so the moment you see yourself doing it, you do what you must do to stop that. And if that means going to the bathroom for a moment, that's fine. That's good. Because you just need a moment to, it's like you're a dog. You need the choke chain to be pulled for a moment just to snap you out of it. And then, okay, wow. Now you really, truly see just what you were just in, what state you were in that you couldn't control. But that being said, you said certain things, certain things in your language show me that you may be looking at it just a little bit wrong, because you're saying lean into it. And when you describe what leaning into it means to basically be mad and just judge away, just fire away in your head or out loud, whatever it is. But the point is, go ahead. What are you going to say about that?
Well, when, just as, if, you see the thought, like, don't deny them, don't argue with them.
Right.
I feel like that was what I was doing. I was denying them. I'm arguing with the devil.
But why would you think? But why would you think But you shouldn't. I see. I'm trying to kind of point out your thinking here that it's not necessarily crazy, but it is intellectual, and that's why That's why I think you're arriving to this, because now you're saying, well, I shouldn't deny them, and so I'm not going to deny them. And if I just pretended like I wasn't mad, I would be denying them. So let me just be mad. No, don't do that either. Do nothing. Do nothing at all.
Just do nothing.
Just do nothing at all.
Yeah.
Don't deny them, but you don't want to be like, we're talking about evil spirits and anger. You telling me you want to lean into that?
Yeah.
Man? You don't want to lean into that. You want to notice the moment you're doing it. The moment you're doing it, you just want to notice it and just stop right there. That's it.
Yeah, and that's it. I think I got intellectual about it after the fact. Now I'm all like looking back. I'm like, well, what could I have done better? That doesn't do anything. Yeah.
Only one thing that you had to do better. Only one thing. Nothing. Just doubt every thought about it.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Look, because you're telling yourself. Because look, let's say you're getting a whole bunch of thoughts. Let's say you just had an interesting interaction with someone that normally, you normally think is kind of a little tense, but whatever. You spoke about some things you usually play close to your chest. Now your thoughts are going nuts and you're working with this person and now your thoughts are going, let's say that's happening to you. So what? They're thoughts. Let them happen. That's not necessary. The thoughts are just coming. Don't make any conclusions about it. Don't make any conclusions about it. Don't say what they are. Don't say what you're doing. Don't conclude what it must mean that you don't have it, that you're judging. Because think about it. You know better than that. You don't want to judge. You're only judging when you're unconscious, which I'm not saying you don't do. Maybe you do. But if you're at least saying, hey, I don't want to judge. I'm trying not to judge. I'm aware. That's so much right there already. You're discounting that. You're discounting that completely. The point is, if you don't want to judge and be angry, then just don't do it. So the thoughts are coming, and you're like, whoa, these thoughts are coming, but whatever. If you don't say to yourself, I'm judging. Exactly. It's only the moment you say to yourself, look at those thoughts, look at me judge. Boom. Now you're judging. Now you're evil.
Doubled down on it.
Boom. It was the moment you called those thoughts your judgment of that person.
100. Yeah. And I did. I doubled down on it even after the moment. No one else is thinking about it. He's not thinking. No one's thinking about anything but me.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's good, man. I appreciate it. So, but that's where, what is Jesse? You can be Jeffrey Dahmer and Two hoops and a holla. Right. It's like 100%. I could punch the windshield. I could do any of that. I'm capable of anything. And so I just got out of sync there for a minute. And like Doug said, when you think you got it, you don't got it.
Yeah.
But no big deal. But that's in the past. Like, that's not even real anymore. So, but anyway, thanks for taking the call.
Anytime, Derek.
I appreciate you guys so much.
Call me again, sir.
I will, sir.
Wishing you well. Bye-bye. Beautiful, mate. Beautiful. It's beautiful, mate. I got something for you. I was finally able to catch an advertisement. I keep getting served this advertisement on YouTube. And I've been served it like twice, and I keep missing the screen record button, and I finally caught it for y'all. I've been trying to show you this ad. It's an ad for a power storage solution from Anker. You might know this company. They make battery banks. Well, they have this very large battery bank, and it's meant for emergencies. It's meant for powering, I think, homes or, devices in your home. It's just a big, it's not a generator. I believe it's just like a battery bank, but it's a big one. And this ad focuses on this mother, Chanel, and how she uses this Anker device to great effect during those storms that happened. I believe, was it last year? Or when were these storms? Some storms, they happened recently, didn't they? They were pretty bad. They're pretty recent. The point is, a lot of power went out. Anker puts out this ad, and it's got this woman, Chanel. And and she's talking about this device from Anker and how she used it to protect her family and her poor son, her sick son. She was able to care for him better thanks to Anker's power delivery system and storage solutions. And I wanted to play this for you because there's something interesting about this. It struck me when I first saw it. If you know by now, the advertisements, they've replaced the men. They've replaced the white men. That too. And it's because you could probably say a number of reasons. I'd say one good one is because these companies, they go with the wind. And the wind, like I told you, is not patriarchy. It's this feminine future. And but there's something interesting as they pick up their fat behinds and move all slow and clunky. In their slow, clunky movements as they move to the other side and they're buffeted by the wind slowly because they're so fat. In their big, chunky and brutish movements, they reveal tiny tears in the fabric. See, when you get a woman and you slap a trooper armored plate system on her, a helmet and a rifle, it looks out of place. They look funny. It looks like this was done hastily. This wasn't well thought out. Like there's a void, a man-shaped void where this woman is. So in this ad, this mother plays the role of protector and defender of her children. I finally caught it, and I recorded it, and I wanted to play it for you because I wanted to, okay? I want to. It's my show. Let's do this. Anker and Chanel protecting her family and her little boy. The man of the family. Hold on here. What's this? Bada bing, bada boom.
My husband, myself, and our son.
Buddy. Chanel, tell us, how did you protect your family using Anker's great line of battery bank products and solutions?
We just kept waiting for the power to come back. My husband, myself, and our son, and our dogs were living in here. So as a mom, it was my job to protect him in every way. And I wasn't going to let the storm win. Having something like the Anker F3800, it would have made the difference of...
As a mom with protecting the dog came first. Did the dog come first before the son? I'm here to protect, I have to protect him in every way. And I wasn't going to let a storm win. This is the part where, oh Lord, what have I done? This is the part where 70 mile per hour winds should rip the roof off the home. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have something to defeat 70 mile per hour, winds? I'm going to protect it. I wasn't going to let the storm win. But whatever. It's like, right on, Mom. You're being proactive. You're going to be there for the family. on this tough time, right? Here I am, the guy sitting in a nice studio, and they're going through a tough time, right? What did they go through? Let's see. What was so bad?
It would have made the difference of my son being...
Man, this Windows Media, what is this? This is a horrible way to play clips.
Something like the Anker F3800, it would have made the difference of my son being warm and using a space heater.
That's what you went through? Oh, that's what you're protecting him from? Cold feetsies maybe? Well, you just could have run their space heater. Affected by, you know? Oh, that's what you're protecting him from. It could have made the difference between a space heater.
The outage not only impacted how often we could feed him.
How often you could feed him? What's that got to do with it? How it affected how often we could stuff our kid's face. Okay, maybe, okay.
But it also impacted his condition and the recovery and the fight he had already done.
Okay, maybe the Anchor baby's insensitive. Anchor baby. Okay, maybe he's sick. It says Andy, the newborn. Why did she say newborn, though? What did she say?
But it also impacted his condition and the recovery and the fight he had already done.
His condition is in the fight that he already done. Born as a newborn with health complications, Andy overcame the power outage challenges of an unexpected storm. As a newborn with health complications. I mean, does Andy look like a newborn to you? Andy looks like a lot bigger than a newborn. Maybe he had health complications when he was a newborn years ago, and now Andy overcame the power outage challenges of an unexpected storm. But, you know, the relation is a little bit weaker because he's looking not like a newborn here. But okay, maybe he's sick. Maybe the Anchor baby is a judge in here. Let's see.
Luckily, he pulled through, and he was okay. He's one of the strongest little kids I've ever known.
All right, my bad. I'm insensitive.
We moved to the Austin area 7 years ago from now. He does have asthma.
Asthma? It's just asthma? It's just asthma. 7 years ago. So he was a newborn 7 years ago. There's a lot of embellishing here. Somebody call. What is the agency that deals with false advertising? What's going on here? What's going on?
And it's unpredictable. The heat triggers it, the cold triggers it, even just the sudden change in a temperature. You just never really know. We always have everything geared towards his best ability to recover from anything. So we always have water, we have electrolyte drinks, we have his inhalers, his nebulizer, but power. That was the missing piece.
But power was the missing piece. And that's why with the Anker F3800, we can provide, it's like mothers overreact at seeing their kid wheezing with asthma. And so they totally overreact and their solution is to destroy them, baby them the rest of their lives. They just couldn't bear seeing their son like that, their kid wheezing like that. It's probably not a nice sight, but it's just asthma. You need your nebulizer, you're set, okay? And so he has to be ready to recover at a moment's notice, and that's why we always have all the items that we need, which is juice boxes and snackies, and in the list of things she says, his inhaler. She says inhaler and nebulizer. They're the same thing. I would know. I was the kid running around the track going, I didn't cry about it. I liked missing school. And I just totally played up. I totally played up being sick or whatever because I liked how people attended to me. I was like, yes, I'm sick. Just saying, parents, you're getting manipulated sometimes. But power was the missing piece. Whatever, you guys get it. Look, show me the patriarchy. I still don't see the patriarchy.
The F3800 was a surprise. I opened it up thinking it was going to be in parts, and it was one piece, and it just came out smoothly. It already had a charge. We were so excited just to plug something in, just to see, like, is it really going to work? As an asthmatic myself, you can never really describe how much an asthma attack impacts you.
She's a traumatized asthma person. That's how much it impacts you. You're probably fine. You grow out of that stuff. Come on.
And then to see your little one go through that.
Told you. I rest my case.
Felt like I was failing as a mom.
Told you.
Because my little boy was struggling. We have a nebulizer that only operates on an outlet.
Well,
the
that's your problem. You can get one of the nebulizers that don't work on an outlet. You go old school. You don't care about your son that much. You have all the snacks and the drinkies and the fruit roll-ups, but you don't even have a non-wall outlet nebulizer. Or how about grow up? Just use the inhaler, buddy. Just go. You got to breathe in deep, bud. You got to use them lungs powers, okay? You don't need a nebulizer. You're 7+, okay? You're not a little boy anymore. No more nebulizer. It's time to grow up.
Gives the ability to make sure he's always going to be able to have a treatment. I could roll it in there for him and plug it in, and him be just fine snuggling with his stuffed animals. I say for anybody that they're trying to decide what power needs to be for them, don't hesitate to look at the Anker F3800. It might seem like that's too much power.
It's too much power.
More than I need.
It's way
but the
too
simplicity of being able to move it around, the simplicity of having so many outlet options, you don't have to prioritize a space heater, a fan, a nebulizer, a CPAP. You can do it all. So for me, there's no better choice for a family to make sure they are safe and taken care of 100% than the Anker F3800.
Wait, there was one more part I missed. I didn't get to comment on.
Animals.
Oh, there he is playing baseball.
Always going to be able to have a treatment. I could roll it in there for him, plug it in, and him be just fine snuggling with his stuffed animals.
Just fine snuggling with his stuffed animals? Where's the patriarchy? Show me the patriarchy. He's just fine snug. This is the protector. Remember, this is the role of the protector. This is what the ad is. Usually this would be different. But some years ago, it'd be a man protecting his home. This is the protector. And this is how she protects. By giving him stuffed animals.
I say for anybody that...
What the? That's probably the... Tell me is that the asthma's fault too, huh? You're going to tell me that's the asthma's fault too? He could barely hit that ball. Huh? Woman, this boy, you raised this boy. No, you did this to him.
I could roll it in there for him and plug it in. And him be just
Next
fine.
Next thing you're going to tell me the baseball, this pitiful strike here with the baseball. It's on a stick. It's on a freaking pole. It's set up for him, for God's sakes, woman.
This stuff.
You raised this boy.
Animals.
You did this to him.
I say for anybody that...
So that's the asthma's fault too now. I'm to imagine for a moment here, huh? He needs to quickly get him some juice boxes.
They're trying to decide what power needs to be for them. Don't hesitate to look at the Anker F3800. It might seem like that's too much power. That's more than I need. But the simplicity of being able to move it around, the simplicity of having so many outlet options, you don't have to...
You get it. I just wanted to... It's a T. It's called a T, okay? Some American Anchor, baby. But I just want to play that for you. I've been trying to catch that ad for some time, for just a number of days. It's so good. It's so perfect. It's a mess. And expresses a little bit of what I want to express here. That's how you raise school shooters, okay? I know. I'm not saying little Andy here's a school shooter. But it's like the general. The female mindset. And the very not masculine side. Okay, so we're pretty much done. I almost feel like in pain hearing myself ramble on about the shooter, but we're done. Thanks to the calls, everybody. I wanted to get to this final experiment. We might have to leave that for later this week. Sorry, flat earthers. The final experiment has been done. But will they accept the results? And does it really mean what they say it means. The final experiment has been conducted. They're saying it's a globe. Maybe we'll talk about it later this week, but I mentioned it earlier. The final experiment, they called it. It happened. They did it. All right, y'all. What else? Let's check the super chats real quick before we go. Thank you so much. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Carver with the super chat with I think an interesting point here. So they didn't have Anchor and the kid was fine? I didn't even put two and two together. I think you're right, Carver. Didn't she say in the commercial that having this Anchor would have made a difference? But they didn't have the Anchor. That's why he went with cold feetsies. But if they had, am I getting this wrong, Carver? But I believe that's what you're saying. And if so, and if that's what they said, good ear. Yeah, the kid was fine without the Anchor. What a mess. Angband Art with the super chat says, England whites were the first to abolish slavery. Shout out to the English whites. You never get the credit for it. Kale Samogi with the super chat says, who is responsible, Nick? The devil? Oh, man, I wish I read this maybe when you sent this. It might make more sense to me. You in the chat, Kale? What is this about? Who is responsible, Nick? The devil? Thanks for the super chat, Kale. Hake with the super chat says, some of them K'd mom/grandma before school. Yeah, you're right, Hake. Yeah. Yep, you're right. You know, some of these mass killers or mass shooters, yeah, they did kill someone and then went off and committed a mass killing. And this someone was their family. At least in one case I'm thinking of a little bit. Thank you for that, Hake. Appreciate the earlier super chats, John and Lord Spike Protein. Right on. Thank you, Rumble. What's up, Jules Verne? I'm glad you're cracking up, Jules Verne. Appreciate it. Thanks for enjoying the show. D Live, what's up, Aries? Gaze for a wreck. Aye. That's it for me, folks. I'm back tomorrow. We got Wednesday, Anchor Baby, Manhood Hour on JLP Show, and the rest of the Bond Network. Let me quickly scroll up with the chat. What are you guys saying? I barely looked at you guys today. Nick has an Anchor 3800 in his IRL backpack. That's not true. That's a really big battery. We have a much smaller one, but it's true. We have plenty of battery. The Anchor 3800 is far too much power for me. But she made me reconsider it. She really made me reconsider. She's like, the way you can just roll that thing around and connect asthma nebulizers to it. Yep. Nick Bully and asthmatic child SMH. I know we've new lows, honestly, but somebody's got to do it. I never felt like that was a big deal. Asthma. It sucked a little bit, but I remember just going when I'd play during gym. I'd be like, whatever. I remember running a little bit, and yeah, like if I ran a little too much, I'd start going like just a little tight. But I'd be like, whatever. I just breathe through it. Honestly, it's not like I was even that active anyways. It wasn't like I was playing all the time anyways. But when I got to, whatever, I just breathed through it. It sucked a little bit. I was like, whatever. I didn't see myself as different. Somebody's got to bully the kid. We don't mean that. All right, y'all. Appreciate you being with me today. See you tomorrow. I'm out. Take care. Bye.